This is the Ten Commandments Monument at the northwest side of the backyard of the State Capitol building here in Austin, Texas, of course. And I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about it. If you'll note, it's got a whole lot of stuff on it. It's packed up with religious items. Well, there's one. That's the Star of David. And over here we got the P and the X. That's for Christianity, of course. And another Star of David. If you know your Ten Commandments Monument history in America anyway, you'll know that these cookie-cutter style Ten Commandments monuments, which resembled most of them on state capitol grounds in America, were put here by the Fraternal Order of Eagles, actually donating them, and the government just gladly taking the donation. It's kind of a nefarious affair, actually. So we've got those monuments all over America at state capitol buildings mostly, but also at some city halls. So there are hundreds of these all over the country, paid for by the Fraternal Order of Eagles. The McCarthy scare was in the 50s though, so this one's a little late, 1961. From the top, we remember that thou shalt have no other gods besides me. It's a violation of religious freedom. It's a violation of the First Amendment for the government to say that. Then the second one. Thou shalt not make to thyself any graven images. Well, I ask you folks, what is this if not a graven image? I'll move on. Thou shalt not take the name of your Lord God in vain. You know, goddammit, I've always wanted to say that right here. But that's free speech. They're cutting into free speech. We'll move on. Remember to keep the Sabbath day holy. Go to church on the Sabbath, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, whichever you prefer, but once a week is what they're supposed to do. Again, the government should not be telling us this. It's not a part of our law, it never has been. Well, it was for a while, in the original 13 colonies. Honor your father and mother. Now, I always wondered why there isn't a commandment that says honor your children. Not all parents deserve honor, and respect should be earned and not automatically deserved. Thou shalt not kill. As George Carlin said, religion has never really had a problem with this one. It's obvious. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Newt Gingrich, Ted Haggard. Enough said. Thou shalt not steal. Isn't this public land? Aren't they stealing a portion of public land by putting their religion here when they know it's not supposed to be here? Separation of church and state. It's not just a funky phrase. It's something that's helped America be a better nation. Thou shalt not bear false witness unto your neighbor. It's another narrow kind of lying. Why doesn't it say thou shalt not lie? That's an interesting one. I think they would have to be held accountable for what they're saying about their God. But in a court of law, rarely. So this one works for them. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Now, coveting is something that helps America. It's a part of capitalism. We have to be able to covet things freely. We can't have the government telling us not to want things, and that's all that coveting really is. You want something you don't have, you get your money out and go buy it. That's capitalism. What's wrong with that? Apparently, the Judeo-Christian God has a big problem with capitalism. And again, the last one, this is one of those versions that has a little bit of repetition in it. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his maidservant, nor his manservant, nor his cattle, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Here we have the coveting repetition again, but we also have an immediate biblical endorsement of slavery. When they say maidservant and manservant, they're really talking about slaves, of course. Because back then, when this was written, apparently slavery was universally accepted, except by the slaves, but also that it was a commodity situation. And, of course, it was. So there it is, folks, the official government religion, the official government commandments. Kind of like the government is trying to make itself into a god. With the eye of God. The all-seeing eye of God, which appears on our money. Okay. A lot of people call that a Freemason symbol. But then we have the American eagle there, national bird, and then we have American flag. And right below that, the religious part. Now, I ask you, if this is not meant to be an immediate and universal declaration of government religion in America, what does it take?